recently did a video talking about films that I will never watch again and films that I haven't seen that I will never watch. This is due to what I personally find too disturbing and things that I just don't really want to see or see again. So I thought I would do a part 2 because it is quite fun to talk about this and then see what everybody else thinks in the comments and what films that they don't ever want to watch or watch again. If you haven't seen my first video, then you may want to check that one out before watching this one, just because that has like the main ones that first come to my mind. As I said in my last video, the main two things that I just personally really don't like to see in horror films or films in general is SA and animal abuse. In some films I do just fast forward those scenes. In a lot of horror films, unfortunately, there are these two things. To start off with, I will talk about films that I have seen and have no intentions of ever watching again. And the first one is The Last House on the Left. I don't think I've ever seen the original, but I have seen the remake, not for quite a few years. I do remember it being very heavy hitting and very abuse based, SA based. I know that it is a revenge film. This one is just a no from me. I honestly don't remember it that much. I do remember certain parts of it and I do remember the ending actually. But for me personally, I feel like I don't need to relive watching that. The next film, I'm probably not going to pronounce it right, and that is the Poughkeepsie tapes. I'm not really 100% sure how to say that. I probably should have looked up how other people are pronouncing it before doing this video. This is a found footage horror film and it is so heavily based around the abuse of women. It just left me with a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't enjoy it at all. It actually just made me feel quite depressed after watching it, if I'm honest. Another one that I won't watch because it left me feeling really down after, and that is Possum. This is a very, very strange film. It is filmed in a really interesting way and I do appreciate some aspects of it, but it is extremely bleak and just really sad. It's not one that it was so sad, but I was really captivated by the story that I would want to watch again. It's definitely a one-time watch for me. I did find it a little bit boring at times. It was either boring or depressing, so I'm going to stay away from that one. The next film that I have watched but have no intentions of ever watching again, and that is The House That Jack Built. And my reasoning for this may be not what you think. There is one scene in this film with a duck and I just can't. It made me so upset. I honestly still think about it sometimes to this day. I just have no interest in watching this film again. I did actually find this one a little bit boring too, but I do actually enjoy some of Lars von Trier's other work. Kind of strange, but I do actually enjoy quite a few disturbing horror films. There is just some that for me personally push too many boundaries, or are just ones that personally I don't want to watch, even if some of the ones that I do like do have some of these themes. I may be able to just fast forward it or look away and it not be a massive loss from the story. Next is a film that I actually went in blind watching, and I probably should have looked up the subject matter first because I was honestly absolutely shocked. This was truly, truly disturbing. I'm not even sure if it would be under the horror category. I guess it would. This film is called Soft and Quiet. This is definitely a one-time watch for me. Soft and Quiet follows a group of disgusting, racist women, and the whole film is just pretty devastating. I didn't expect it to be like this because it is a Blumhouse production and usually they're quite light-hearted, silly. The next one is a little bit different because I would watch the film again, but I wouldn't watch the ending again, and that is Eden Lake. This film is really disturbing, but it is the ending that really gets to me. Even though I know if I watch it then I kind of already know what's going to happen, but I feel like if I just turned it off before the end scene then I'm saving myself some emotional distress for sure. This isn't a film that I really go to rewatch anyway, and I haven't felt the need to rewatch it in probably about 10 years. I'm not sure when I will rewatch it, if I will rewatch it, but I wish there was an alternative ending because it is just really, really sad. So now a few films that I haven't seen, but I may have heard about them, and they are definitely not films that I want to watch. So the first one is Dead Girl. I don't actually know loads about these films because the bits that I do know are enough to put me off. This follows a few boys who find a girl who isn't alive anymore, and from what I've heard it sounds really disgusting and definitely not something that I would ever want to watch. The next one is Gummo. One of the main reasons I don't want to watch this is because I've heard it's quite heavy on the animal abuse, as well as maybe SA and other really sensitive topics, but I haven't delved too deep into knowing what this one is about. I've just heard a few topics that it may include, and they're definitely things that I want to stay away from because they would definitely stick in my head and I don't need that. Lastly, I'm going to talk about a trilogy that I have no interest in watching. It is kind of popular for being disturbing, and that is the Vomit Gore trilogy. Just that title puts me off. I've heard that there isn't much storyline to these films. I don't really mind gore as much, but I prefer when there is actually a storyline to go along with it. It doesn't sound like there's much depth to them at all. As I said in the last video, do let me know what films would be on your list. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in another one.